Day to you, and welcome to another exciting time on television. The program is Business Angle, and I am Ogali Mafur. So we begin the year with, as usual, a report on the stock market. Last year, towards the end of last year, 2020, the Nigerian stock market was acclaimed the best stock market in the world. But this morning, we are having an unfortunate report that says that the market suffers 393 billion naira loss on profit taking. The equity market closed on a negative note on Tuesday, declining by 1.83% as profit taking hit the market following investors' moves to increase capital gains. Nigerian stocks suffered its first loss in 2020. The all-share index plunged by 1.83% to close at 40,396.14 index points, as against the 2.18% gain recorded yesterday. The Tuesday's trading session turnover at the Nigerian stock market, however, ended bullish as volume surged by 119.73% as against a 70.18% drop recorded on Monday trading session. Transcorp, Zenith Bank, and FCMB were the most active to boost the turnover in the market. Len Africa leads the list of active stocks that recorded an impressive volume spike at the end of yesterday's session. The market bread closed negative as Gas led 15 gainers, as against 34 losers, topped by Boa Cement at the end of yesterday's session, an unchanged performance when compared with the previous outlook. Also, the Naira exchange rate to the US dollar on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021, closed at 465 naira per US dollar in the pound market. The rate has also closed at 465 naira per US dollar on Monday, January 4th, 2021. The exchange rate between the naira and the British pound sterling closed at 615 naira per euro per pound on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021, and the rate had also closed at 615 naira per pound on Monday, January 4th, 2021. The exchange rate rose between the naira and the European euro closed at 565 naira per euro on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021, and the rate has also closed at 565 naira per euro on Monday, January 4th, 2021. The World Bank has said that Nigerians' growth is expected to resume by 1.1% in 2021 from a contraction of 4.1% in 2020. It also said that the global economy would expand by 4% in the same period. The World Bank disclosed this in its January 2021 Global Economic Prospects report titled Global Economy to Expand by 4% in 2021, Vaccine Deployment and Investment Key to Sustaining the Recovery. The report said growth in Nigeria is expected to resume at 1.1% in 2021, and nevertheless, activities are anticipated to be dampened by low oil prices, OPEC quotas, falling public investment due to weak government revenues, constrained private investment due to firm failures, and subdued foreign investment confidence. The federal government, through the Petroleum Product Price and Regulatory Agency, has warned oil marketers and other operators in the downstream sector against non-compliance with the provision of the Petroleum Products Commercial Framework regulations. In the regulations said, the PPRO said failure to comply with the provisions would attract sanctions, including suspension from operations. It said the downstream operators, including refiners, marketers, depot owners, wholesalers, retailers, traders, etc., wishing to carry out the business of petroleum products in Nigeria, should submit expression of interest together with all relevant documents required for registration with the agency. And all applicants for registration with the agency shall be subjected to due diligence and execution of contract agreement, and registered operators shall be issued a commercial license to supply petroleum products. Other regulations are there on the list, and the oil price rises above $53. OPEC plus agreements on output rollover. The international oil benchmark Brent crude surged above $53 per barrel on Tuesday as the Organization of Exporting Countries and its allies agreed to hold production steady in the face of new coronavirus lockdown. Well, we have a lot to discuss on the program, our first program for the year 2021. And to discuss this with me is Sonia Dudu. So pleased to have you in a new year on our program, first episode.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you're welcome to the program. So the first thing that we want to look at today on the program is the New Year message of President Muhammadu Buhari. He highlighted some key issues relating to the economy, among other issues. And I know that Sonia Dudu has been looking into that speech of President Buhari. And yeah, he talked about focus of his administration on revamping the economy through the nation economic diversification agenda. He's saying that his administration is geared towards looking at diversifying the economy, of course, outside oil, especially with the volatile nature of the oil price, as it were, and especially after the country has had a very devastating experience of COVID-19. So I'd like to hear your thoughts about his New Year message, the economic issues that he hopes to look at in the year 2021.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Mafo. I think in the last year, 2020, Nigerians have suffered a lot of loss due to COVID-19 and some other economic issues we've had. And then diversification is quite a huge and wonderful idea of our president. But I think that more should be done. He has said that he has plans for diversification, but what are your strategies? How do we see these things coming forth in 2021? I think that's what Nigerians are hoping for. Because it's one thing to say we are going to do this in 2021, then the next thing is how the strategies to be put in place for diversification. Of course, it's a fine idea. Poverty will be eradicated, and then we give room for other sectors of the economy like agriculture. So I think what our president could do for us is tell us the how, let the strategies be put in place, so that we know that, yes, there is something huge coming for us.
Yeah, he also mentioned that his administration hopes to rebuild the nation's infrastructural base through rehabilitation, modernization, and expansion of the railway station, the system of the railway system, national roads and bridges, both in the rural and urban areas, alongside airports and seaports. I'd like to hear your thoughts about this. How will it facilitate, his diversification agenda, looking away from oil and gas?
Okay, the roads, for instance, if we are looking at agricultural sector, we are taking our minds into the agricultural sector. What if we had bad roads? How would these goods be transported from state to state and even beyond the state? So I think when we have these infrastructures put in place, it will be easier for us to look into diversification. But if this, as he said, he wants to revamp the economy, make sure that the roads and every other infrastructure is put in place, if we have that well enough, I think looking forward to diversification will be possible. Yes, so I think those are the tools that will help.
Okay, before we go further, before we go into other issues that the president raised in his New Year message as it relates to the economy, what should Nigerians look towards? The country is actually experiencing recession, and the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, and the Minister for Finance and Budget and Planning, Ahmed Zainab, has given us a positive outlook on how the economy would look like, saying that recession will be a thing of the past in the first quarter of 2021. And so we have a lot to talk about as it relates to the economy. But before we go there, we have someone who will be contributing to the program all the way from Ontario, Canada. He is an oil and gas expert. He's Mr. Matthew Sully, and he has a lot to tell us about how the oil and gas industry has fared in the last 12 months, the year 2020, and of course his expectation for the year 2021. Let's take a listen.
Good day, and thank you for inviting me to your program today. I want to also appreciate you for trying to get what my thoughts are as regards how the oil and gas industry in Nigeria has fared in the year 2020. I want to say Nigeria, just like other parts of the world, didn't do well in the oil and gas industry just because of the coming of coronavirus. It affected a lot of things, and I want to say that the year started on a good slate because power before that time, the NLNG Train 7 contract was awarded to Saipem, Daewoo, and Chiyoda, and I think it's in the tune of $10 billion in that zone actually. And this contract is supposed to employ 7,000 to 8,000 Nigerians. So it was a good fit. And when the year started, normally the budget too, came into play. And the budget benchmark then was at $57 per barrel. That was what the budget benchmark was placed at. But as the year will go on, you found out that, coronavirus came into play, and this actually affected a lot of things. Most companies shut down. Most companies laid off their staffs. The demand for oil reduced. At some point, in the middle of I think in the first quarter of the year or so, in the middle of the year, second quarter, the oil industry, experienced a glut, a situation whereby the supply for crude was more than the demand. So people had crude oil all over and looking for people to buy, and there was no buyer. So it was so bad that the price of crude oil even went to the negative region, if you know what I mean. So bringing it back home, this affected a lot in the Nigerian market because Nigeria is an economy that is heavily dependent on oil. As you have it, it's heavily dependent on oil, and we found out that because of this demand, definitely it's going to affect our inflow, that's our forex inflow into the country. And we found out that most of the companies, especially the IOCs, had to lay off their staffs. Most of their contract, they have to bring them to, if not total cancelling, they have to renegotiate the contracts. I have some contracts too, even as at that time with some of the IOCs. I noticed a lot of them through NAPIMS, asked most of the contractors to give them, contract rebates in the sense of maybe price negotiation. And most of them were asking for 40% reduction in contract prices, which wasn't actually feasible. Yeah. I noticed the likes of Chevron, ExxonMobil, Ajib, and the rest, they all did the same. Actually, NAPIMS asked them to go ahead and contact the contractors affected because my company handles manpower for the IOCs too. Found out that at the beginning of the year in maybe an IOC where we have over 100, personnel that will supply them. At the end of 2020, we'll be lucky to have 15 or 20 of them left. It's that bad, yeah. It really affected the oil industry in Nigeria. And for the fact that, the COVID, made a lot of lockdown to, come all over the places. So the demand for oil wasn't, that in contention. And we found out that because of that, it affected a lot of things. So I would say generally in Nigeria, the oil industry is not something that we'll say had fared well. Nigeria is not left out. It affected every other place in the world too. Okay, what are my expectations for 2021, especially with the COVID-19 vaccine? Yes, I would say it's a game changer to some extent because now it's going to bring a lot of confidence, and as people have started taking the vaccine, you find out that companies and other organizations will start opening up. Okay, what do I think of the oil and gas industry in Nigeria in 2021? Yeah, I want to think that, the negative consequence that we suffered in 2020 due to the coming of coronavirus is going to, I won't say it's going to be wiped out, entirely, but we are going to see a little improvement. And this improvement is going to come from the fact that, the PIB bill is going to be passed in 2021 by the National Assembly. That's going to create investor confidence for them to invest in the Nigeria oil and gas space. So hopefully we see that this is going to be a plus to the oil and gas industry in 2021 in Nigeria. Also, the coming of the Dangote refinery, yeah, all things being equal, they're supposed to start production in 2021. So most of our crude, it's been exported out. A chunk of it is going to go to Dangote refinery. And by the time they refine, we're going to have the refined product in the country and all that. So that's going to be a plus too. Okay, the increase in the price, the pump price, the government deregulation. Okay, you want to know what my thinking is as per the increase in the pump price and all that? Well, just like the Minister of State for Petroleum, Timi Priscilla, has always argued, it's not as if the price of petroleum was increased. It's just that petrol was deregulated. Before now, they used to pay a lot of subsidy, to most of the people that import petroleum products. And, with the way situation are now, when you notice Nigeria has been borrowing a lot in these days, especially from China and, other countries and, organizations. Nigeria will not be able to finance its budget, going ahead with paying off the regulation, the subsidy. So now the subsidy was removed. And for the subsidy to be removed, definitely the price of oil is just going to follow naturally with the market forces. How much is crude selling, what's the demand and all that. That would determine petrol is going to sell. And you understand that before now, AGO and kerosene, have been deregulated before, and just petrol that was left. But now the whole industry has been deregulated. So now government is not even paying subsidy again. And government is still struggling to meet up with this balance of payment, if you understand what I mean. So I don't think it's a bad idea. With time, Nigeria is going to balance out and find out that, okay, we'll be able to finance most of our doings without the payment of subsidy. And if you notice, the subsidy before now has really been abused. Most people just collect the subsidy without even doing what will qualify them to receive the subsidy, to start with. So I think it's a good feat by the government to have removed the subsidy payment and deregulate the industry in its entirety. So my argument in all of this is that, okay, the Nigerian oil and gas industry in 2021 is going to be slightly better than 2020. But most of the groundwork and the foundation that has been laid will start seeing the effect in 2022. Thank you very much. And I think that's my submission in this regard. Thank you very much.
That was Mr. Matthew Sule and his view on how the oil and gas had fared in 2020, and of course his expectation for the year 2021. And we want to look at what the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, addressed in his New Year message as it relates to the economy. Let's listen.
On the economy, our focus on revamping the economy through the National Economic Diversification Agenda that supports the primary goal of national food self-sufficiency. This has helped reduce the growing food-related inflationary figures and have in considerable measure positively impacted on our food security status during the long months of the pandemic lockdown. We are also currently rebuilding our national infrastructure base and in the process introducing transformation through the rehabilitation, modernization and expansion of the railway system, national roads and bridges both in rural and urban centers alongside the airports and seaports. With the recent opening of our borders, we expect that the pent-up demand of legitimate cross-border and international trade will boost the fortunes of the many small businesses and agricultural enterprises that depend on Nigeria trade and commerce. The message to our West African neighbors is that Nigeria is once again fully open for those willing to conduct business in a fair and equitable way.
President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, was there speaking to us about what he plans to do in the year 2021, of course, to, improve on the economy of the nation. And so you heard him. He mentioned reforms put in place in the power sector that would guarantee increased efficiency in the drive to significantly expand the generation and distribution of electricity for use in homes and factories, which is very essential. Now, when he made mention of factories, local industry, small-scale enterprises, what comes to mind is this free trade agreement among countries took effect in 1st January. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Okay, the agreement initially requires country members to remove tariffs from 90% of goods, allowing free access to commodities, goods and services. It means that small businesses will thrive with this agreement. And the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa estimates that the agreement will boost intra-African trade by 52% in 2022. It means that we are looking at a really, really fair economy.
A big market.
Yes.
So for local factories, industry, small-scale farmers, small-scale entrepreneurs, and it's a huge market for them to take advantage of.
And then we can see that poverty will be eradicated. Industries can be put together. And there'll be improved standard of living. So if we have all these things put in place, it means.
But in the light of these positive outlook we are seeing in this free trade agreement that Nigeria is part of, do you think that the nation is, in terms of industries, infrastructure, the president made mention of rebuilding the nation's infrastructural base and highlighting on electricity, which is very fundamental for local industries to thrive. They can't thrive on the use of generator sets. It will increase the cost of production. So now, do you think that Nigeria is ready, as it were, to harness the potential that is inherent in this free trade agreement?
First of all, I think over the years we've had challenges of low production rate. So I think, honestly, we aren't really capable enough to do this. But I think what Nigerian can do as a country, we can liaise with other countries, other African countries. That's why I said industrial development can be increased. When we have this country, for instance, Ghana, giving us whatever services or goods that they produce, giving us here, and then we are able to supply what they need. It's like trade by barter in economics. When we're in secondary school, we normally say trade by barter. So when you give us what we need and we give you what you need, it means that we are able to sustain ourselves and also help you sustain
your economy.
So I think the agreement is really favorable.
And the president also made mention of the recent opening of the borders and the demand of the legitimate cross-border and international trade that will boost the fortunes of many businesses. And talking about boosting the fortune of many businesses beyond the choice of this country, at the reopening of the borders, we learned that some residents of certain, border towns were very excited at the reopening of the borders. That means that the closure of the borders had an vast impact on their various economy. Now, what do we do to ensure that the reopening of the borders do not bring in unhealthy vices, unhealthy activities on the various borders? We were talking about smuggling of goods. The president also significantly mentioned self-sufficiency.
Yes.
Meaning that we should be able to provide or produce enough for the nation. So if the president is looking at self-sufficiency, that we should produce more, don't you think it is expedient for the nation not to import those goods that it can conveniently produce for its own citizens?
Yes, I think that's a good one. We should give Nigeria.
We're talking of border security.
Yes, of course, because it's fine that we can actually produce these things by ourselves. And there are other things. We need technology. We need help. We need assistance in order to grow these things that we can actually produce for ourselves. And I remember the president was saying he was trying to have a meeting. I think he had a meeting with these neighboring countries. He said they should also comply with us. make sure that these goods we don't really need that causes corruption, those goods not wanted in the country should be stopped, should be prohibited. So I don't know how well they've gone with that agreement, but that was what President Buhari said. He said if these neighboring countries will be able to comply with us, make sure that the goods that you bring in are well good enough for us, then we are free. But if he notices anything of smuggling, goods that we don't need, goods that are harmful to us, then the border may be
closed. But it's not going to be, especially with the free trade agreement. It says
yes,
you have to open your borders for other nations to trade with you.
There are also regulations to that agreement.
Yeah. So, well, a lot has been said about the free trade agreement. I don't know if you have something more to add to it.
Okay. I think I have a few benefits that will come.
Okay.
They said poverty may be tackled, inequality may also be tackled, and then we can have improved industrial development. We also have food security in order, that if the agreement will definitely come into place. And we've said the agricultural sector has suffered from decades of underinvestment, that with this agreement we are sure to see that agricultural sector will bounce back to its...
Okay, so having enumerated all of these benefits that it brings to the country, how do Nigerians, you and I, begin to prepare ourselves for the opportunity that comes with this agreement?
Okay, we have our small businesses, we have what we are doing already. I think what we can do is to hope on our government. Yes,
okay.
To hope that, okay, these things will actually come to the grassroots level.
Okay.
Let us know.
But the question is this, how many people actually know about free trade agreement? It took off in January 1st. I think that's why we should even talk more about it. It took off in 1st of January, and it will facilitate easy and seamless trade between and among countries, about 55 countries. 54 yes, countries. I think it's a huge market that has been laid at our disposal for serious-minded entrepreneurs in Nigeria. So please tell us how the ordinary Nigerians, whoever that is watching us today, how would they take advantage of this free trade agreement?
Okay, well, I think the ordinary Nigerian, the average Nigerian, can play their role by, they have businesses already. So I think we are mostly dependent on the government. They have said that these things will be effected. So let's start saying it, because we cannot go to the government house to start, okay, where is the agreement? How do we start enjoying these privileges? You need to come down to our level. The state governors, the governments, okay, what have we said already? Okay, take to your states. These are the things that these entrepreneurs should do to prepare for. So we are waiting on them.
So we as Nigerians, we should be more productive minded. Yes. We should be more focused on producing than consuming, because our consumer level has led to us depending on importation instead of exporting.
And I think what can also encourage us, because most people are already producing, but they don't get the profit, they don't get what they expect. So we need the government to actually make these changes visible to us.
Okay. And what about okay, I think we have a call. Okay, our viewers can contribute to the program by calling this number 08078429677. You can contribute to the program. You can tell us anything you want to tell us with respect to the New Year message of President Buhari, his thoughts about issues that he hopes to address in the nation's economy. I would like to hear your views about that. Okay. Well, the numbers are also on the screen for you. You can call in and get connected to us on the program. It's an interesting one. Yeah, we're still talking about the free trade agreement. Now, Nigerians should be more productive minded. Nigerians should be more productive minded and less consuming minded, because the reason we have more of importation, when we talk about balance of trade, we have more of imports to exports, is because we are more of consuming nation than even producing.
What do you think? It's not like we don't want to produce. We need these infrastructures, we need technology to actually help us produce. So Nigerians are saying that the government should help us produce. It's not that we want to be consuming nations as we are tagged, but give us the assistance that we need. So that's why you see most Nigerians are always importing importing because they are not able to.
What about the preference for foreign luxurious goods? They feel that locally made goods are not, of high quality. What would you say in respect to that? I think good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Please try to call again. When you do, stay away from your TV set so we can hear you without interruptions. So
I think the question we want to ask is what makes these foreign goods different from the local goods? Yes, because if we have the same facilities you have, then we should be at the same rate.
Yes.
So I think it boils down to what we have already, what the government has provided for a better production.
some persons say that our locally produced products may not be of high quality. What would you say?
Why is it so?
Okay, still talking about the New Year message. Okay, call is coming in. Hello? Hello? You're welcome to the program. Good morning, ma. You're welcome to the program. Okay, please, when you call, stay away from your TV sets. I could hear myself and I ought not to. So please, when you call, stay away from your TV set so we can have a good and smooth conversation. So you're saying something about quality of products and... So you said it's a lack of infrastructure to produce this okay, call is coming in again. Hello?
Hello?
You're welcome to the program.
Yes. Hello?
Hello? Talk to us, we can hear you. Talk to us, we can hear you. Stay away from your TV set. I can hear you. You can ask any question, air your views, your thoughts about the economy in the last 12 months, your thoughts on the New Year message by President Muhammadu Buhari on the economy, what he hopes to achieve in the year 2021. These are the things we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Okay, so she wanted to know what business angle is all about. Well, it's about the economy. We analyze economic issues. And it's 2021. We're looking to a positive news. But the 2020 was, a whole, it was really challenging for the economy. But yet, we are still living and that we have a lot to do. So in closing, I'd like to hear your positive, should I say positive, expectations for the year 2021.
Oh, my expectations for 2021, as long as Nigerian economy is concerned, our president has said a lot. Beautiful things he said.
Before you continue, let's speak. Hello?
Hello?
Good morning, sir. You're welcome to the program.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're welcome to the program.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah. What I want to contribute was, I want the government to bring down the fuel price.
Okay.
To bring down the fuel price
Okay.
and make things stabilized in Nigeria. And employ, try to create job for those who are looking for work. So that's one of my opinions.
Thank you so much for contributing to the program. Happy New Year to you.
I wish you the same.
Okay, thank you. Well, good thoughts there. Looking towards more job opportunities. The government, federal government, President Buhari actually mentioned the youth looking towards,
and I think in this agreement that came in. Okay, said this agreement will actually make us import
Hello.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Same to you. You're welcome to the program.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you for coming, for joining us on the program. Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay. I want them to supply lights.
Okay. Okay.
Very, very noted.
Thank you for contributing to the program. Happy New Year to you again.
You on my TV set.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay, God bless you.
Oh, God bless you too. Happy New Year to you, dear.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Electricity wahala. So we're looking to better, electricity.
Employment opportunities.
Yeah. Many calls are actually trying to come in, but okay, there's another one. Okay, let me hear your final thoughts on your expectation for 2021.
Okay, Buhari has given us his desires for
Intentions too.
intentions to make sure that Nigeria becomes a better country. But he wants to revamp the economy. So what we want is actually to see the change. How do you intend to make these changes happen? Let's know your strategies. Let's know the things you're putting in place already. So I think that will give us some kind of hope to say, okay, yes, we're actually moving forward. So we want to see these changes.
You want it to do the talk and not just talk the talk.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's where we draw the curtain on today's episode of Business Angle, our first one for the year 2021. Thank you, dear viewers who tried to call. Some are still trying to get through, but we can't take your calls. We'll talk again next week, same time, Wednesday, 11 a.m. will be on your screen talking business as usual, and I hope to see you there. Thank you very much for staying with us. Bye for now.